Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to film this video today. This is my December rooted video. It is December 29th. I have waited until the very last minute of this month. I actually intended on filming this video while I was in Maryland, in my hometown over the Christmas holiday, and I just never did. And so I wanted to put this up on the day I'm filming, and I wanted it to go up on this Friday, and there was no footage for me to put up. So I couldn't, so I'm really excited to film this. I think I'm actually gonna try to edit it and get it up tomorrow, which is a Saturday, and I don't usually post on Saturdays, but here we are. I am fighting the light. It is 4:45 p.m., so I've adjusted my camera. I hope I'm well lit. Usually I film these in the morning where there's really good light in this room, but you gotta do what you gotta do with this holiday travel business. If you are not familiar with my Rooted series, I will throw in a link to my Rooted playlist above if you want to go check it out. Essentially, Rooted has been my word for the year in 2017, and now this is the 13th video that is going on that playlist. The first video was an explanation of why Rooted was my word for 2017, and the short explanation to that is I moved from a big city to a small town. It's been tough. It has been a journey of a year, and just having that word rooted has really helped me to focus and work on making friends and finding my place in the community and just feeling more rooted here. So that has been that. And so that first video was an explanation, and then I have checked in every month with this being my final video, which I cannot believe. I can't believe it. This has been such a good accountability for me, but far and beyond that, it has been an amazing way for me to meet some really awesome, amazing women. Some of you guys who are going through or have gone through something very similar in this kind of rooted arena. And it's been like the best thing to be able to email and just have conversations on social media and things like that. My dog is playing with his new Christmas toys and he's being really loud. Charlie. And just getting to hear your stories and what you're going through and what helped you, and it's been like the best. So just thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm so excited to be wrapping it up on such a high note. So let's just jump right in. This is not gonna work. All right, Riley took Charlie. My husband took my dog. So he was like squeaking this toy over and over. And that can make for just a little bit of annoyance when you're watching a video. Okay. Truly, y'all, I feel like 2017 has been such a year of redemption. It has been so beautiful. I'm just blown away by this year in general. I mean, truly, I always feel like I'm risking sounding dramatic when I describe how I felt at the beginning of this year. But I know because so many of y'all have emailed me and we have had conversations about this very thing, that a lot of you do understand. And when you move anywhere and it's a new place and you have no friends and you don't know like the fastest way to the grocery store and you don't know like what the good dentist is and you don't know like all those small things, and then you also just like feel really out of place, and then anyway, there's all these layers to it. It is the most isolating, depressing, difficult, horrific, horrible, miserable thing I have ever walked through in my entire life. And there are some tough seasons that I've never, you know, shared really about online, and I don't know that I ever will, but really tough, hard things that have been awful, and this has been worse than anything I could imagine, because it has been just, it truly is miserable. It's like there's no, mostly I think because there's no end in sight. It's like time, it doesn't heal this because I'm still living here. And so it was really at the beginning of this year when I filmed that, why my word for the year is rooted, and why 2016 was so tough. I was in a low place. I had no friends in this town. I'll just say in the briefest, you know, broadest brushstroke that I had made a few friends around the beginning of this year, and for different reasons, all of them basically walked away from our friendship. And I would say the main reason for that is because they were heavily rooted in this town, and so they didn't like need a friend, whereas I like desperately needed a friend. And so for them to walk away like wasn't a big deal, but for me I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't know anybody. So my point in saying all that is that truly I started off this year lower than I could ever describe to you. Just truly miserable. Miserable is the best word I can use to describe. I just remember taking a shower in the morning and just sitting on the shower floor and just sobbing, like truly weeping, because I was so unhappy. I felt like I had no one to call, no friends to call, nowhere to go. I didn't feel like I belonged in this community. I didn't understand or like this small town culture that I am now living in and a part of. Everyone had a bunch of kids, and so that made it really hard because I was not and am not a mom, and so trying to find my place in that was really challenging. I don't have any friends like in any close towns or anything. Like, it wasn't like I could just like drive and go meet people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like there were 100 reasons and layers of reasons of why I just was having such a hard time, and I really was trying. And there were so many people throughout the last, in 2016 and then early this year, who said things to me that like hurt me so badly, but they were trying to be helpful, and things like, you just have to make the best of it, or just look on the bright side, or you know, this won't last forever, like whatever. And especially the just make the best of it group, of which there were many, was incredibly frustrating and angering to me, and just felt really unsympathetic, not empathetic, just really unkind, because I felt like it was like, it just lacked validation. It was like, what you're going through isn't that bad. Like, just look on the bright side. Like, you know, just, it's fine. I just want to tell you, if you're going through this, whether it's in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2023, if you're watching this video because you are currently dealing with all these things that I've been talking about throughout this year, of finding your roots and finding your place in a city that is foreign and unknown to you, I just want to validate you in the fact that it's freaking hard. It is so hard. It is exhausting. It is frustrating. You want to give up. You want to run away. You don't want to deal with how hard it is. And I just want to validate that the fact that people who have never left their little bubble, I'm not throwing shade, I'm just being honest, people who have never left their hometown have no idea at all how hard it is. Which is great for them, but I just want to tell you, I validate the fact that sometimes it sucks. It is so hard some days. I mean, hard, really hard. And people who haven't been through it have said things to me like, you just need to call your friends. No. No. If you say something like that, you don't understand. It is great to have, I have many friends across the country who I can call. But if you've never lived somewhere where you have no one to meet up with, you have no one to go get coffee with, you have no one to go get lunch with, you have no one to go over their house, you have nothing like that, you have no idea the isolation that is. The internet is a beautiful thing. I make a living off the internet. I love the internet. I love technology, but it is not a replacement, and it never will be a replacement for real life friends. And all of that to say, if you are going through or have walked through or whatever, something along these lines of trying to feel rooted someplace where you don't, whether that's in college or it's a new town or whatever, I just want to tell you, whatever you're feeling is right. There will be people who will try to sweep your feelings under the rug because they don't know how to they don't know how to deal with them, and so they'll just say things like, make the best of it. And they just give them grace, know that they're trying to be helpful. But I just want to tell you, from someone who has been there and is currently there, I get it. And it's much harder than people think. Much, much, much harder than people think. In fact, I've had a few people who have emailed me who said that they started watching the series at the beginning of the year and they just didn't understand it. And then sometime in 2017, they had to move, and they've written me these, I've had several people actually write me these long emails or letters or whatever, just saying like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it could be this hard. I'm not trying to throw a pity party for myself, because I'm in a really good place now, and I'm so thankful that God has brought me out of that pit. But if you're in the pit, girl, I get it. I will climb in that pit with you. I get it. It is so not easy. Gosh, it's just not easy. Really, it's not. So, validation first, because if someone had said those things that I just said to you, to me at the beginning of this year, I think things would have been really different. A chunk of my isolation was in feeling like no one understood, and no one had been where I had been, and that I was like alone literally because I had no friends and no one to call on, and then I was double alone because no one understood. So I just want you to know you're only half alone. You may not have friends, and I know how much that hurts, but I just want you to know that the other part of that, like, I get it. I actually really get it. I know what it's like to not have anyone to call. I know how hard it is. I know how exhausting and frustrating and devastating and miserable that is. And I believe that over time it most likely will get better. It has definitely gotten better for me, but that doesn't change how much it hurts. So there's 12 minutes of validation for you, and I would do it all again. I think it's important to say those things. As always, I have a couple notes on my phone. There's just not much to report, y'all, other than my heart feels free. God has come through for me, and I've had a lot of people ask me what books or audiobooks or podcasts or whatever I've listened to that have helped me, and there have been different things, you know, along the line that have given me a sense of comfort or calm or peace, but at the end of the day, the truth of it is Jesus is the answer. Jesus is what has changed. He has changed this. I heard Chris Valentin is a pastor, and I was listening to one of his sermons the other day, and this sentence sums up 2017 rooted journey for me perfectly. And he said, you can't change your life, but if you change your thoughts, God will change your life. You can't change your life, but if you change your thoughts, God will change your life. That is this journey in this nutshell, in the best nutshell. That is exactly it. That is exactly it. My life looks the same. I live in the same house. We're in the same small town. The town is just as lame as it's ever been. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. I would say I have 2 friends in town, which, believe me, at the beginning of the year I had 0. So like, I praise God for those 2 friends, but it's not like I'm in this like amazing community circle of friends. I don't feel that way. I have 2 friends that I love and I'm close to. Basically, my point is everything has remained largely the same, but I am so different, and that has been the difference. I am so different than the woman who recorded at the beginning of January. I don't feel broken. I don't feel hopeless. I don't feel fearful. I don't feel like I'm wasting my life here, all of which are things that I felt to the fullest extent in January. I feel like there's a purpose for me here. I feel like this year and this rooted journey has had a purpose because I believe it's encouraging other women and just saying like, you're not alone. And I know it's hard, but God is with you, and He is for you, and He has a plan. I feel that there is a reason why I live in Gainesville now, and a reason why I will live here for however many years the Lord sees fit to keep us here until a door opens elsewhere. I believe there are lessons that I'm learning, that I have learned and will continue to learn, that are important. I have a confidence and a sense of purpose of being here that I had none of. I had 0% of at the beginning of this year. And the only thing that has changed is my faith in the Lord. I've been a Christian for a long time. And it's one thing to say you're a Christian, and it's another thing to have to live that out and walk in faith. And moving here and living here has been one of the biggest ways of walking in faith, of choosing to trust God. And when I have chosen those every day, choosing God, I trust you with my life here and my life plan living here. This is not my choice, but I choose you first. And if you are choosing for us to be rooted and planted here in Gainesville, then I trust you. I'm not afraid. I believe there's reasons for us to be here, and I'm excited and full of anticipation. It makes me like giddy. Like, I feel like I could like jump up and down right now. It is like the most beautiful thing to wake up and feel like these hard seasons and the hardship that will continue living in Gainesville. Y'all, Gainesville still sucks. Like, I still don't want to live here, but my heart is so changed. My heart is so changed, and I just see these glimpses of God's glory and the things that He's gonna do in and through me, through living here. And I cannot wait to share those things with you in the future. And just like, it's amazing. Isn't that cool? Like, it's so cool to see how God can take just a hopeless situation where I was just riddled with fear and anxiety and misery and feeling like I was wasting my life, to now, because of Him and only because of Him, because I changed my thoughts and I chose faith, and I chose to believe that God is who he says he is, and I am who he says I am, not who I say I am, but who he says I am in him, I'm free. I'm free from the burden of obsession, and free from the burden of trying to control and plan every part of my life, because I just trust God. And I'm just telling you right now, I promise you, because God has given me a word, that in the future years, in 2018 and 2019, there are going to be things that are going to happen in my life because I live in Gainesville. And you're going to look back on this video, and I'm going to look back on this video, and we are going to all see why I'm here and what the purpose was. I know there's a purpose for me here, and I believe there are some things in life that we don't know what the purpose of different things are until we get to heaven. But I tell you that I believe that there are going to be some things that are going to come to fruition just in 2018. They're going to be full of purpose, and I'm going to get to see some small glimpses of why God would have put me here. And that excites me like I cannot tell you. I am like truly giddy with the anticipation of these coming years. And I don't know that we'll live here forever, but for however long we live here, I trust the Lord, and I trust his plan, and I trust his timing, and I'm just so changed. I'm so changed. So if you're looking for resources, I'm telling you, get your Bible out, get to a church, get to a Bible study, surround yourself with people who love the Lord, who will encourage you, who will tell you truth and not just what you want to hear. It's a big one. And just seek God. And you know, if you've never had a relationship with the Lord and you don't even know what that means, and the Christians you know are wacky and weird and crazy, email me and I will love to talk to you about what my relationship with Jesus looks like, because religion versus a relationship with Jesus are two very different things. And there is just freedom and love and hope and joy in a relationship with Christ that I cannot find any worldly parallel. And I don't even know how else to say it. Like, I'm just so changed. God has just changed my heart. But it you know, and he's been pursuing me and loving me this whole year, but it truly was when I finally, this summer, I finally just thought, you know, enough is enough. Like, I'm going to choose to trust God and put my faith in him, and I'm going to choose to start acting on that, and I'm going to choose to start investing in friendships, and I'm going to choose to start these different things, and I'm going to see what happens. And I've just been so blown out of the water, y'all. It's been so cool. It's been so cool to see. And it was just a choice of like, I'm going to make this my home, and I'm going to do what I need to do, and God's going to stand in the gap for me, for the things that I can't do. And he's going to bring me more friends in time if that's his plan. And there are already some things like, y'all, I'm so eager to start some kind of women's group in Gainesville for people who are new to the area, because I have met a few people, but I've heard through others, like everyone I know is like, oh, I have a friend who just moved to Gainesville, I have a sister who just moved to Gainesville, and like, this is a really hard city to get plugged into, as evidenced by my journey this year. Just a small town, tight-knit culture, and it's hard to be an outsider. And I'm so eager to create some kind of place or club or organization or whatever for other women to meet other women, and I would love to figure out a way to start that this year. This year being 2018. I'm just so full of hope. I'm so full of purpose and so full of hope, and just thrilled to see what's coming to pass. All of that is totally true, but I don't want to paint this picture as being like every day is 100% great. I am so changed, and my days are so different than they were at the beginning of this year, and my joy has exploded, and I just feel free and alive and joyous and full of hope. However, there are still hard things. Like, I'm human, we still live in a very broken world, and there are still hard things, and there are still things I miss about living in other places, and there are still times when I wish I lived somewhere else. Like, every day I wish I lived somewhere else. However, I have accepted so much of the hard things, and that acceptance, like true acceptance, has taken this whole year, and will probably continue on into future years, but that acceptance has just set me free. It just really, just saying like, there are things about Gainesville I don't love, there are things about Gainesville I wouldn't choose, there are things about this city that I wish were different, but they're not, and that's okay. I can move forward in my life with confidence and joy and love in my heart, even if there are things around me that I wouldn't choose. So what I'm planning on, my next video on this channel will be my word for 2018, which I'm really excited about, and is kind of a whole different track than this rooted track. But I'm looking forward to kind of going down that track with you with my new word of the year. So that, like I said, that will be the next video after this one, I believe. As far as rooted, obviously my journey doesn't stop here. My journey will probably continue for at least a couple more years, if not for the length of time that we live here. And so I'm hoping to post maybe quarterly or maybe 2 updates in 2018 with regards to rooted. I don't know if you guys would be interested in hearing updates about how things are continuing to go. If you watch my vlogs or follow me on Instagram or on my blog, things like that, I'm sure that there will be like inklings of kind of how I'm doing with being rooted next year. But if you think that adding some more videos to this series and this playlist would be interesting, let me know. I would be more than happy to go ahead and do that. But only if you care. If you're like, listen, we've heard enough, we know, then I won't add anything else. So yeah, so my 2018 playlist for my new word will be coming up. Of course, all these rooted videos will remain up and live, so if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can totally check those out at any time. Feel free to send them to someone you know, if you know anyone who's moving to a new town or who has moved to a new town or a small town and is having a hard time. I would love to be a virtual sister to her. You guys know you can always email me. You can always send me a letter to my P.O. box and I will respond. You can send me an Instagram DM and I will respond. I'm just more than happy to support you in your own journey of being rooted, because it would have been really helpful for me to have had someone like that. And so I'm happy to be, it's like a privilege to be that person for you if you need just someone to just cheer you on, because it's just not easy. I think that's everything I have to share today. Basically it's been just an awesome year. December has been really, really good. You know, like tonight I'm going over to my friend Jenny's house to spend time with her family and just see everybody and chat, and just that is such a huge change from the beginning of this year when I had no one to ever go see. It's like my heart is just soaring to have just a couple of friends. It's like the best thing I could ever explain to you. It's such a gift. So that's that. And then like next Sunday we're hosting a Christmas party, and so we're having couples from our church and friends come over for a Christmas party. It's just an after Christmas party really, because we were gone during Christmas, but it's like those two little things are just pictures of how different things are. Of some circumstances are different, but really I've just decided that I'm just gonna get rooted here no matter what. Like I'm just gonna do what I need to do to cultivate friendships here and to cultivate community here, and I'm just gonna let God do the rest. So it's so good. It's so good. I just want to thank you. I'm not gonna cry because I've cried in like 90% of these other videos, but I just want to thank you truly so much. Like, thank you so much to those of y'all who have been with me in this series since the beginning. If you have, y'all gotta comment and let me know that you've been here through this whole journey and series, and let me know. Thank you so much for following along this series with me. Those of you who have sent me emails and messages and letters and DMs and everything, just saying that either you're going through the same thing or that you're cheering me on or both or whatever, like, you guys have stood in the gap on so many days that have been so hard, and I just can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough. And my hope and prayer is that whenever you're going through a hard time, there are people who are the way that you have been for me in your own life, people to stand in the gap for you and just help you through those tough days when you just need some encouragement and you need someone to say, like, I get it and I've been there. So thank you. We're wrapping up Rooted. I cannot believe it. It's been a beautiful, great year. This is truly a redemption year. This is truly a redemption year. This is a year that started out lower than low, miserable, hopeless, angry, frustrated, every other thing, sad, really sad, and is ending where I just feel alive and just full of joy and anticipation, and like it's all the Lord. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. So thank you so much for following along. If you enjoyed this series or this December Rooted video, I would appreciate a thumbs up as always. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe so that you'll get notified when I share my word for 2018. Can't wait to share that. Super excited to journey along that word with you. And here, I love hearing, you know, y'all's words and what you're kind of working on this year and that kind of thing. So thank you for following along. I'll see you guys next time. 2017, it's been a good year. It's been a really good year, and I am so looking forward to 2018. Goodbye, Rooted series. Bye, guys.